cartoon characters based on real characters. Now, as much as this may startle you, but some cartoon characters are actually based on real-life characters. We spend our childhood growing on different cartoons, and sometimes we even look up to some of them, or down in the villain's case. But did you ever think where the inspiration comes from? Some characters are a mere creation of the imagination. They may be a fantasy that the writer wished for, or maybe a childhood toy that is embodied as a character. But some are more than that. Some cartoon characters are based on flesh and blood. If you're interested in knowing what cartoon characters are inspired by real-life people, then please keep on watching. Number 1. Mr. Burns from The Simpsons. Those yellow talking creatures that resemble human life turned out to have actual flesh and blood between them. It took a little of a lot of everything to create the most evil person in Springfield. Matt Groening, the creator of Simpsons, took the inspiration of Mr. Burns from his high school math teacher from Portland, Oregon. David Bailey, the producer's old math teacher, used to lock horns with Groening, as the producer was since a young age named the class clown. Then he added in a little bit of standard oil tycoon John D. Rockefeller so as to give Burns the motivation of money, as well as to have a sense of corporate greed in his blood, or so to say. When the time came to render him in cartoon form, animator David Silverman took inspiration from other forms of creation, the body of a praying mantis and the head and face of Barry Diller, or known to be the founder of Fox, The Simpsons Network. Number 2. Troy McClure from The Simpsons. Yes, the heartthrob and actor found in The Simpsons, who can only get work in B-movies, educational films, and info commercials. But if you only knew the heartthrobs behind the cartoon character. If you guessed Tawny Donahue and Doug McClure, then you guessed right. These two hunks of television have probably slipped your mind. Well, Simpsons writer Mike Reese revealed on a Simpsons DVD commentary track that he had once met McClure's daughter, and in the interview, she said that her dad found out that he was a laughingstock to his children. His children used to call him Troy when he was outside the room. Number 3. Butters from South Park. I'm sure you've heard or have come across South Park, the animated Christmas-themed shorts. Since the 1900s, Eric Stowe had been helping in the production of this show. As of today, Stowe still works for Trey Parker and Matt Stone, two of his friends whom he had known since middle school. And he works as the animation director for the long-running series. And now for the source of inspiration of the show. Well, you guessed right. It's Eric Stowe himself. Stowe is the inspiration for the sweet, naive, innocent, and incredibly unlucky Butters Stotch. Stowe even compares himself to Butters because he had the same strict upbringing and finds himself to be super agreeable with the character. The other South Park guys once nicknamed him Little Brother, which evolved into Little Buddy, then Butters, then finally Butters was created. Number 4. Chucky from Rugrats. The redhead, nearsighted character of Chucky is not actually a creation from imagination. He was also based on a person of flesh and blood. But try not to be surprised when you know who. Mark Mothersbaugh, the man best known as the frontman of forward-thinking rock band Devil, or as we know him today as the most sought-after film composers. Some of the movies that he has credit for are The Royal Tenenbaums, Rushmore, Regular Show, and Rugrats. His inspiration of Chucky actually came from his own self. They are both nearsighted and they have pretty thick glasses. Not to let the hair misguide you, but Mothersbaugh actually had that kind of hair when he produced the show. He was still a single man with nothing behind him, or no kids to drain out the color. Mothersbaugh said, "We both had thick glasses, we're both nearsighted, and I had pretty wild hair back then. I didn't have kids yet, so it still had color in it." Number 5. Rocco from Rocco's Modern Life. Rocco actually resembles many people from real life, or instead the real-life troubles that real people go through. He is anxious, overwhelmed, and out of step with the world around him. And precisely, he reminds us of the stock male character in a number of Woody Allen movies, often played by Allen himself. During the time of escalating in the Heights or Nickelodeon, Rocco's Modern Life creator Joe Murray described his title character as a young, anthropomorphic Woody Allen who had just moved away from home in a surrealistic adult world. The major difference is that Rocco doesn't comment on the craziness of the world around him as much as Allen's characters do. Also, let's not forget that Rocco is a wallaby with an Australian accent. Number 6. Popeye. The tough-as-nails tattooed sailor man with a soft spot for olive oil and a pipe to match his toughness. Yes, that's Popeye, the character who gained his superpowers by popping a can of spinach and gulping it whole. Cartoonist E.C. Cigar had a strip called Thimble Theater. Various characters came and went in Thimble Theater since Cigar had created it in 1919, so it took him 10 years to come up with Popeye. But who would have guessed that the inspiration for the character Popeye had been right in front of him? There was a man in Cigar's hometown, Chester, Illinois, that was known among the villagers for being a man always ready for a fight. Frank Fiegel, the part-time bartender, fit the role perfectly. Him and his pipe that never seemed to leave his mouth. Oh, Popeye, if only you could jump out to see your double. Number 7. Ursula from The Little Mermaid. The villainous sea witch in the 1989 Disney classic is so bold, so audacious, and so over the top. It's like one of those drag clubs with all those drag queens, and Ursula is the founder. That's no accident. The character was inspired by Glenn Milstead, better known as Devine, star of John Waters' Pink Flamingos, Hairspray, and Polyester. Little Mermaid lyricist and producer Howard Ashman knew Devine and wanted to create a character that would be one of a kind. After looking at a bunch of concept sketches of Ursula, Ashman saw one that he liked, a large, glamorous woman. In collaboration with artist Rob Minkoff to make some changes to what first looked like a Miami Beach matron, adding in a shark tail, shock of hair, and a ton of eyeshadow, and other features that made Ursula look almost exactly like Devine. Number 8. Krusty the Clown. And we are back to The Simpsons once again. I'm starting to believe that The Simpsons might be one of those reality TV shows. In the early days of television, different studios had different kids' TV shows. From their studio, an actor or a station employee would dress up like a pirate, a cowboy, clown, for example, and then maybe lead a studio audience of kids in a game or two, and then throw to an old cartoon. In the hometown of The Simpsons creator, there was a local kiddie TV show host guy named James Allen, better known as Rusty Nails, who had a show on Saturday mornings from 1957 to 1973. Groening, who grew up in Portland and watched the show as a kid, created Krusty in honors of Rusty. The significance between the two is so accurate. Number 9. Bugs Bunny. Now, I'm pretty sure all rabbits eat carrots, but have you asked yourself why Bugs Bunny eats them along with steadfast mannerisms and personality traits? Well, back in the day, there was a classic Hollywood movie star by the name of Clark Gable, probably best known today for his role as Rhett Butler in 1939's Gone with the Wind. Gable won the Academy Award for the Best Actor for the 1934 comedy It Happened One Night, portraying Peter Warren, a sarcastic and scrappy unemployed newspaper reporter. In one of the scenes, Gable was leaning on a fence and chewing on a carrot. He even talked from the side of his mouth while chewing. This trait and his character inspired the cartoon maker Friz Freleng to create a bunny having the actor's traits. Not only the traits actually, but Bugs is the name of the hitman Gable's character mentions. Number 10. Edna Mode from The Incredibles. The superhero suit designer Edna Mode, best known for not including capes in the heroes' costumes from the Pixar superhero send-up, has very strict, uncompromising views on fashion. She is exactly like the character's inspiration, legendary Hollywood costume designer and 8-time Oscar winner Edith Head.